I mean, oh my god. I thought chapter 89 was good with Gojo doing Gojo things, but this just changes the whole game. Everything you thought you knew, that's out the window now. I mean, that's out the window now. That's just gone. Everything you thought you knew about Geto and what his plan was and everything else, Akutami Sensei made a fool out of all of us. In my opinion, this is like Aizen reveal levels. Chapter 90 incoming, official Jujutsu Kaisen translator steady here. Let's do this. Let me get my hat back on here. So, welcome back to another Jujutsu Kaisen little manga lounge, a little read-through, kind of a discussion. Not really a read-through, this is more kind of a discussion. Kind of give you a point of view and let's clear some things up. So chapter 90, the first chapter of 2020 for Jujutsu Kaisen, and what a banger. Jujutsu Kaisen has already won 2020. I told you it was incoming. Anyways, let's so the first page just starts with this crazy color page, and when you first look at it, of course it stands out with its colors and all that, but the finger and the line, I mean, it just means, after you read the chapter, it just means something so much different. And the halo kind of effect on top, man. Anyways, so there's going to be a few things that we're going to be kind of talking about today as far as chapter 90 is concerned and where the Shibuya arc has kind of evolved into now. So we are definitely going to be talking about Prism Realm first. We're going to be talking about kind of Geto at this point, and kind of what the reveal is all about and what that means for the story. It's not Geto is not Geto. Panda is not a panda, but Geto is not Geto. Anyways, we're going to be talking about Yuta Okkotsu a little bit. This is going to be kind of delving into volume 0 a little bit, but you don't have to know all of volume 0, but kind of a good chance to talk a little bit about what his character is all about. And we're definitely going to be talking about that huge cliffhanger at the end there. Alright, so let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about Prism Realm first. So we see Geto kind of around the mahjong table with the 3 special curses. I guess the water one is off swimming somewhere, but talks about what we kind of find out more about Prism Realm and what it actually entails in terms of its conditions and where it came from. So Geto does mention that it does come from a Buddhist monk, Genshin, kind of the final remains of Genshin. Now, Genshin, kind of doing the research in terms of Prison Realm, his relation is, Genshin is famous for his kind of studies on the Buddhist hell kind of version, and the mythos behind a Buddhist version of hell. That's as far. It's kind of still hard to tell what it really, the Genshin relationship between Genshin and Prison Realm is beyond that, but as far as the connection that we know so far, that's kind of what we mean when Geto says Genshin. So, but moreover than that, it's really just kind of about the conditions. We've been kind of teased about what Prison Realm is ever since chapter, like 12 or 13. And now we finally see what it is. It's this, something like out of Soul Calibur or something. you know what I mean if you've played Soul Calibur before. But the condition is you need to keep the opponent or the target within a 4-meter radius for at least 1 minute, but if you're able to do that, then it's a guaranteed trap. So that's sounds like a pretty good deal, but when you're trying to do that against someone like Gojo, obviously, as Jogo gets upset about, and the other special grade curses, but Jogo specifically starts going nuts, like, how are you supposed to keep Gojo in one place for that long? But this is where it kind of gets a little bit tricky, and this is kind of another Akutami master play. We're not exactly sure, 100% sure, what Gojo's kind of timeline in his head is, but it's implied very much so that time kind of works a little bit differently for Gojo, kind of based on his limitless technique. And so, you know, Gojo is kind of all about his math and space-time and things like that. So 1 minute, as far as what Gojo recognizes as 1 minute, is very different from another person. That's why we have that one scene where Geto is saying 1 minute had already passed for Gojo. So they meet the conditions, they are able to distract him long. You see that kind of where he looks like he's about to pull away, but as soon as he sees Geto, that's all they needed. That's why they needed to kind of keep him on edge. And then of course he's going to see his supposedly dead best friend. He's going to be kind of shell-shocked a little bit, right? So they managed to do it, and now he is trapped. But then we have the reveal. Now Gojo sees Geto and he's obviously shocked, as he should be, because in volume 0, kind of spoilers here, but in volume 0 it kind of concludes by, it's confirmed now that Gojo did kill Geto. At least, yeah, he actually did. He went through with it, because the actual kind of final act of putting an end to him, the nail in the coffin, it kind of pulls, it's a scene that kind of is pulled away from looking actually at them. So we weren't really too sure if he actually went through with it or if he kind of let Geto go, but it seems like he actually did go through with it and kill Geto. My eyes are telling me that you're Geto, but my soul, you know, they're boys, so they know that's not Geto. He knows that that's not Geto. And just the reveal, I mean, when I was translating this, and then the whole "Who are you" panel on page 15, where Gojo is just going off like, so who the hell are you? Tell me, who are you? I mean, my heart was racing 1,000 BPM, bro. It was just, it's like, oh my god, there's something going on here. And then this next page of, oh my god, what is going on? I mean, really, like, just when I thought I knew everything, like, now this is funny because I had, a couple months back, I had kind of brought up the subject of Geto and the stitches across his head, and I thought it was just like he managed to find a way to use like reverse curse technique to kind of heal himself or something, or found a curse that would help him or something. I did not think that it was what we can kind of assume we're not even sure if it's a special grade curse, or at least a curse that's able to switch between bodies by kind of switching brains. So the ability, we're not really too sure exactly how it works quite yet, but we do know that when this curse inhabits a body, they're able to use that person's curse technique as well. So which is huge, I mean, for obviously taking over someone like Geto. And can you imagine, I'm kind of scared, because what if this person takes over Gojo now? I mean, that's a scary thought. That's scary. And who knows, that's maybe what will happen in the next chapter. So, oh my god, that's just so scary. But this Geto does mention that Gojo didn't get Ieiri Shoko to dispose of the body. Obviously, Gojo kind of was you know, kind of sympathizing with Shoko that she probably wouldn't want to dispose of the body, just kind of the feels and all that. So he must have gotten someone who wasn't her, and which kind of implies that Shoko is very kind of diligent in dealing with these kind of matters, and she's very kind of top-notch in those kind of fields, right? Like autopsies and kind of cremations and doing it the proper way. We're not really too sure what that entails, but I think Nanami, when he was actually talking to Yuji, that there is this kind of concept of if a Jutsu Sorcerer's body is not disposed of properly, there is the potential of it kind of manifesting as a curse again. So there's definitely that we kind of have to keep in mind when Jutsu Sorcerers die. There's always that kind of concept, right? So people like, spoilers, Haibara or whomever, these kind of Jutsu Sorcerers that have died, they might reappear again. And then if that still wasn't enough, then they Gojo kind of brings up Yuta Okotsu, which in kind of the main story as far as Jujutsu Kaisen proper is still not revealed yet, kind of alluded to, but it's the main character of Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0. So Yuta Okotsu is actually the 4th member of Tokyo High second years. There's Panda, Maki, Inumaki, and then there's Yuta. And Yuta's kind of off doing his things, but he's classified as a special grade curse along with Tsukumo and Geto and Gojo. He's the 4th special grade in Japan anyways. And this is, again, sorry, I don't mean to go off topic again, but there's always the idea that these Jujutsu Sorcerer don't only exist in Japan. How amazing would that be if they start going outside of Japan? I mean, that would be awesome. But we're kind of told that Yuta Okotsu, and they kind of alluded to it in Volume 0, but his curse technique is a copy. He's able to unconditionally copy another person's curse technique and use it for his own. Now, it's kind of, we're not too sure as far as the specifics in terms of like how far he's able to manipulate it. Like if he was to copy Gojo's ability, since he doesn't have the 6 eyes, would he be able to use the Limitless as effectively as Gojo does? But who knows? It sounds like that's why he's special grade, right? Because he's allowed to just use anyone else's curse techniques. So it could possibly be incredibly strong. For like Heroes fans out there, it's kind of like Peter Parker. Not Peter Parker. What is it? Peter... I forget what the last name is. But you know who I'm talking about. And he also, not only is he able to copy curse techniques, but he's said to kind of have just like infinite curse energy. But Geto's kind of quick to retort that by saying, well, that was because he had to kind of detain the soul of Rika. And I don't want to ruin Volume 0 for you guys, but kind of that's and now that Rika is not really in play anymore. It's kind of hard to say what Yuta is kind of all about right now, and that's what Geto is saying. It's like, well, I don't really see what you guys see in this guy, because he's not the same Yuta as he was before, and that could very well be true, but we know that Yuta is probably kind of training, kind of trying to start to figure out different things, so it could be very exciting. And then last but not least, our boy Mekamaru. Like, what is going on with this chapter? Really, it's just one gut check after another. And it's just like, just when I thought the chapter was done, I mean, Akutami Sensei just not pulling any punches with the first chapter of 2020. And we kind of are confirmed that kind of in my previous chapter 89 Manga Lounge, I talked about whether Yuji and Meimei and Uyui are going to be going through the tunnel after the train, or if they're going to be going on street level, and it seems like they just went through the tunnel, so they probably won't be meeting up with Fushiguro Group, which it seems would be right above them actually. So yeah, I don't know. It's, as far as Mekamaru here is concerned, he might be alive. I mean, that's what it kind of seems like, and which I would be really happy about, because I know as much as kind of the dramatic effect of, Mekamaru getting taken out, especially after his kind of relationship with Miwa, I would really love to see him come back and join the Kyoto group and all that, but it's either that or it's either just like a recording, right? And I have a bad feeling it might be kind of just like a recording, but I'm hoping that he is still somehow alive, because we never really saw him dead in the chapter. So who knows? We don't know. But he did go up against Mahito, who kind of had a vendetta, and we don't know. I mean, I don't know either. I don't know. So, what did you guys think of the chapter? I mean, this was the first chapter of 2020, just starting off on a bang. And just let it all out. Let us know. Feel free to comment if there's anything that I can kind of clear up. Definitely, I'll do so if I can. Just, God. I mean, you can tell like how shaken I am after this chapter, right? It's just so exciting to be a Jujutsu Kaisen fan right now. But that's chapter 90. I mean, there's just, I think it's definitely kind of that cliche of brought up more questions than it answered kind of thing, and it just switched up that game, man. Anyways, I want to say thanks, and definitely do come back next week as we find out what happens in chapter 91. Hopefully some answers, questions answered. I mean, look at me, I can barely even talk anymore. Anyway, so I do want to say thanks, and thanks for the comments, likes, subscribes, and all that, and for sharing. If you do feel compelled to do so, don't feel obligated, obviously, but I do want to say thank you, and do check out my Volume 2 physical copy Volume 2 video as well. It should be on my page. And stay tuned here for all things Jujutsu Kaisen. And you know how we do. Mata yoroshiku!